Business Takeout presents
The CockTale Hour with L.A. Wade.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the CockTale Hour, where we have intimate yet sobering conversations about the things we thirst for in life. Today is brought to you by Business Takeout, a social enterprise that works to really educate and empower Black wealth and Black entrepreneurship. So thank you so much for joining us today. Today is very near and dear to my heart because I get to share the stage with the beautiful women that we just finished doing, a historical moment by being the first all-female Black cast in Canada to put forth a reality TV show with an all-Black television and film crew. So give it up for yourselves, Naija Wives. Big up yourself. Big up to Potential Films, who were the people who filmed and edited, and big up to Euphoma, who you've met earlier on my show, who also directed the show. I think the best way to do this, because you all look so beautiful. Oh, we lost Becky. That's okay. Becky will pop back in after. But maybe, Abby, you can start by telling us a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, what you're all about, and we'll just go in sequence.
You're muted.
Oh, no, you're muted.
I muted myself just in case some kids come in and, I didn't want to. So anyways, my name is Amelia, aka Bronze Barbie. I'm a mother, wife, vegan, co-founder, executive producer, cast member, author. I mean, name it, guy. I can do it all. You know what I mean? Like jack of all trades, master of all. Just trying to do my thing out here. And and thank you, LA, for having me and Business Takeout. We appreciate it. And let's have some fun tonight.
Yes, let's do it. Let's get to know that. Pureness, I see you getting down and dirty. You know we get
dirty. We do it. We do it. Hey guys, I am Pureness, owner of Faces by Pureness for the last, we're over a decade in the business ship, but 20 years serving the community and everybody in between. I have worked on billboards and I've worked with many celebrities and good times and great graces. And I just love being on this cast. It's been amazing. I have a lot of things coming in 2022. And 23. And I'm excited. I've entered the fitness realm and a lot of people are reaching out to me there. And we're hoping to go worldwide. So I'm excited.
Amazing. We'll learn a lot more about the intricacies of the things that you all do very shortly, but let's just get to know everyone first. I know Becky's having some problems. Does anyone want to talk about Becky? Because she can't talk for herself.
We can wait.
Okay, so Rachel, you go next. You go next, Rachel.
Yes.
Okay, my name is Rachel, a mom, a grandmother of two, entrepreneur, and a healthcare worker. So we are the frontliners, the heroes out there.
Yes.
Well, I love serving my community. So all the Omicron and Corona you run from, we deal with it.
Yeah,
I enjoy what I do.
We were just talking about how there was an outbreak, Rachel, at the hospital that you were working in and that you were on right there.
Oh, yeah. That was some days ago, 3 days ago. I got 4 days ago, I got scared for the first time of Corona. Even when it was really bad in 2020, I wasn't that scared. Maybe because in the end of last year, December 30th to January 5th, I was terribly sick. I was down, I could not lift my hand to pick up my phone. Funny enough, I had all the symptoms of Corona, but I tested negative. So I still don't understand that. The explanation to that, I don't know. So I think what I say is that a lot of people carry this virus, you sick, and you test negative. So I don't know what's in the testing, how accurate. I know they're not 100% accurate, but I don't even know if they are 80% at this point because I was terribly sick. I have chills, I have cough, I was terribly weak. I was let me talk. I had it. I lost my appetite. But I was negative. Till now, I'm still negative. So when they send me to that place, I'm like, hell no. I don't want to get sick again. Funny enough, I was not told before they will prepare us. So when I got there, they like, yes, we are on our break. I'm like, hello, you see on the news, have you reported this? They say, yeah, maybe they're going to put it on news, maybe tomorrow. I said, how can you have 11 people out of 28 positive and it's not on the news yet?
That's
So
crazy.
it's not out there, So
Yes. Well,
that
I'm
got
so
me
grateful.
really scared. So I'm like, no, I'm not going to that unit because
Yeah.
I
No
have my
way.
5-month baby in my house still with us. So I didn't want to get them sick. So because of that, my daughter left yesterday. They had to take the grandkids off my house. I don't want to bring any thing home to them. So yeah.
Right, exactly. Well, praise God you are with us. I know we're all happy that you are here with us. Thank you for fighting on the front line. Another frontline worker is Miss Becky. I don't know if you can hear me, sweetie pie, but Becky's at work. She is not in casual Becky attire. She knows how to rep. Okay? This must be killing her.
Amelia is another one too.
I know, but at least Amelia, she's set up right. So Becky, if you can hear us, it's okay. If you can't, we'll go over to Amelia and we'll have Amelia talk about her. And just to shout out to AAW who's watching, I think on Facebook or YouTube. He's just saying, lovely ladies, lovely group of ladies. So it's nice to see all of us here. I'm happy to be here with all of you. There he is, lovely group of ladies. I'm assuming he's a he. He's a frequent viewer, so I'm appreciative to have him here. And Emilian, can you hear us now? Your turn, Emilian.
She can't hear.
Connected.
Well, this won't work very well. That's okay. Maybe what we'll do is we'll work out by showing you what is to come on the Naija Wives of Toronto that is dropping in a few weeks. So, Banky, if you can run that, we'll take a look at some of the drama.
This season on Naija Wives of Toronto.
Becky! Please get me out of here! Ellie, stop it! I am not going anywhere.
I wouldn't be here if she didn't invite me.
Like, I can't even believe it. See, I'm the boss. Don't control me.
Hi, Pierre.
I beg, make you step away a bit. OMG.
Straight up.
You don't listen. So soft.
Abroad that you've been over the years have ruined and destroyed your way of thinking as an African woman.
What the man? Get us about where?
I don't know what's going on.
You can take your advice off your Whose fault? It's your fault.
Whose fault? It's your
That's
fault.
beautiful.
That's my favorite. That one, and you can take your advice and stick it up your ass.
Yeah.
Because, and I know because when we were filming it, I remember those moments. It's really, really funny.
Those are good ones.
Oh, we lost them. That's okay. Yeah. We have you three to hold us down. It probably will run smoother actually if we just have the three of us. And that it's funny that we're talking about this because how hard has it been to coordinate 6 women for a reality TV show? It's not funny because Amelia's always late and she was late here and it's like come on, chick. What is going on? So Abby, and I say that in jest, but at the same time, Abby and Rachel are the OGs. Pureness and I are more like the newbies. So it's kind of works out well here.
Yeah.
What made you guys want to do this? Abby and Rachel.
Well, what made us start Naija Wives is because we didn't see ourselves on TV at all. Like it was either African American or other people, but we never really saw Nigerian Canadians or Blacks in Canada really on TV. So we're like, you know what? Let's do this. Let's represent ourselves. And also, like Rachel would always say that she wanted to represent like normal, regular people that work and get things done, because it's all about your family, your life, your business, your work, your career. So we wanted to show people that Nigerians are able to do all these things and still look fabulous and still, get things done and just, get things popping. So that's why Naija Wives was started, to show regular people that you can do it, to motivate them.
Yeah,
So
I
people
love
can go
it.
after their dreams and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, like Naija Wives of Toronto was like a baby, and it has definitely taken a village to raise it.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the African proverb, which is kind of fitting for what we're doing here, because a lot of us in the diaspora, myself and Pureness, who are not necessarily directly from Nigeria, it's kind of like, I'm so glad that you added that component to the conversation, because that kind of encapsulates the conversation that we're all having here.
Mm-hmm.
We are saying, we are Africans, we look great, we do things that are amazing, but we're part of this diaspora of other people that look like us, but aren't exactly the same as us.
Mm-hmm.
And I found it really interesting to be able to be a part of something where we started to try to bridge that gap in terms of even just exposure. Maybe we haven't learned everything we need to learn yet. That could be in season 4 and every season that comes after.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a really, really interesting journey. Amelia, can you hear us now, honey?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay, perfect. Tell us about who you are and what you do.
I'm Amelia and Andrew. First of all, healthcare worker, a mom, an actress, a model, fashion designer, entrepreneur, and I'm happy to be here.
It's so good to have you. Becky, can you hear us? Okay, she can just be cute. Becky's at work. Oh, she's gone. Becky's at work, so she's gonna have a little bit of trouble. And since we're on Amelia and she's right there in the middle of the screen there, I'm gonna ask you, Amelia, because I didn't know certain things about you. Like, I read today, I didn't hear you do this once on set. I heard today that you're a singer. What the hell? Where did this come from? Maybe you
Actually, that's funny. I'm not a professional singer, but I do sing. I started from back in church as a choir. I was in a gospel band group.
Get out! Did you guys know this?
Yeah.
You guys knew?
That was before I joined the Naija Wife cast. So
a gospel singing group.
Yeah, One Connection. It's called One Connection. I had to take a break from them for a while because I had problems with my voice and I had to do other stuff. So yeah, I was. We have a video out there or something.
Oh my God. If I had known that, girl, I would have done my research and found that stuff and blasted it for the world to see. Now, when we all introduced each other, I forgot to mention that I wanted you to say where you're from, but I already knew that you're from Lagos.
Lagos.
Say it? Lagos, not Lagos.
Lagos.
Teach the people. That's what
Lagos.
the point of this is all about. Teach them how to speak it properly. So Lagos.
I'm actually born in Lagos, Nigeria.
Lagos. Did you hear the difference, people? It's not Lagos. It's
Lagos.
Okay, get it right. And Abby, you're from where?
I was born in Shagam, Ogun State, Nigeria. So it's about maybe half an hour away from Lagos, but it's like a little small town. So I'm like I'm a Ijebu girl. So if you know, you know. Ijebu.
Is that like tribe?
Yeah, Ijebu is a tribe, of Yoruba. Yeah.
Now, I know you guys spoke a lot of your language off. You spoke on set as well, like when we were filming.
Yoruba,
Offset.
I speak Yoruba,
Yeah. So tell me about, how do people who don't know anything about Nigeria, on set, I wanted to be like, hey, we can't understand what you're saying. Kind of like speaking for the people who might watch it and be like, I don't understand what they're saying. Because you only speak a little bit on the actual filming, but offset, you were always speaking it, especially Becky.
because Becky is like that. She just likes to speak Yoruba for some reason. But so I just speak it back to her because that's what she liked to speak in. So and for the people, for the viewers, like on the show, if they can't understand, we do have subtitles coming up. So there'll be subtitles in the new season. So they'll be able to understand exactly what we're talking about if it's not in English.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, we're cussing each other in English.
In English, yeah.
And you know, people always like, are the fights real? You put
Of
6
course.
women together to go through an adventure for a whole summer, and you tell me if the fight is real. Somebody forgets something, somebody doesn't come to your birthday, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're all hanging together. You can't just leave people out.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, true.
I don't want to do too many spoiler alerts or anything like that. But I was going to ask Becky so much about, there was a scene, so this is a little bit of a spoiler alert, that one of the themes that we tackle on the show had to do with kind of like a domestic violence theme, which is a very serious theme. And I think that speaks to what Rachel was talking about in terms of bringing, you know, real life people to a larger screen so that more people can actually relate to that person.
Mm-hmm.
Becky, can you hear us at all, honey? I think that's the most we're gonna get.
I guess she can hear but not talk.
She can hear, but we can't hear her.
She's on mute,
okay.
That's why. Unmute yourself.
It's
She's on mute. There you are.
She muted me though.
Yeah, see, she's on mute.
Okay, yeah. We can hear you now.
Okay, because the network here is really horrible, so that's why I keep joining you guys since.
Well, we were just talking about how you're quite the character on the show.
Oh.
You have one of the biggest hearts on the show, but we also know not to mess with Miss Becky. Would you all agree?
Yeah. Becky, it's something else. Me and her actually beefing.
Listen,
we're not friends.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's so like to continue that storyline of the reality, they're not exactly in the best place right now. So we don't want any fighting on the show. We'll leave that for the actual show. What do you think about the differences between our reality TV and the reality TV in the States? So we have the Housewives of Atlanta, we have the Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I heard there's a new Housewife of Dubai coming, which Sheldon Shaw from Potential Films, who filmed and edited this show, was saying that there's this new one coming from Dubai. How do we, because people are used to that type of like housewife franchise. How are we different? And in fact,
you're breaking too much in between. I can't hear you at all. Like you're breaking, like in between.
Who's breaking up? Okay, can you hear me now, everyone?
Yeah.
Okay, Becky, I'm sorry that we can't hear you. It's okay, and if we know you're at work, so if you need to go back to work, that's totally fine. But I don't know which one of the wives, the original wives, wants to take that idea of how we compare or what's different about us compared to the housewife shows in the US. Rachel or Amelia? Oh, Pureness, you want to touch it? What's up? I don't know what's happening.
Abby could touch on that because she definitely has a history on it.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I can touch on that. So what makes us different is because we're of different culture from African Americans. So it's all about showcasing culture, our food, our clothes, fashion, you know, so we're different in that way because there's African Americans and there's Nigerians, you know, so it's like
I don't know. I kind of know what you mean.
Meaning like our culture, the way we're raised up and the way we think, the way we do things, it's like totally different from what African Americans do. And that's just the reality of it. We might look the same, you know, we're all black and stuff, but when it comes to like the culture aspect of it, we're different. And that's just the reality of it. Yeah. So that's what Naija Wives is different from every other shows out there. We touch on culture, food, fashion, our lives, everything. So we're different in that aspect because we're different.
Yeah, there's a lot more fist fighting, I think, on New York in reality shows. Amelia, what do you want to say, honey?
Let me add to that. Yeah, we're also different because most reality shows in America, it's all about it's all about the rich and famous, you know. So as someone stopped me at work one day in the hospital and said, "Oh, you are in a reality show. Whose wives are you?" I said, "Well, the regular people's wife." you know. So when they hear reality show, everyone is expecting those rich and famous basketballers' wife or those millionaires. Yeah, we're millionaires to be though. But right now, you know, the regular people's life matters to us. So the normal people. So people need to know about them too. It's not all about the rich and famous. So that's who we represented, those that just live normal people. So that's what makes us different from them too, because most of those ones in the African American ones in America, most of them are big people.
They're already famous.
We are not. So we're different in that way too. And yeah, this is more about Africa. They are African American. We are 100% Africans. Though we live in diaspora, we are here. But it's more about, you know, Africa and, you know, our lifestyle.
Yes, I love that. I love.
So that's how we're different. I don't know if anyone has something else.
No, you know what? It's been so important to be a part of the show for me as a woman in the diaspora who's not from America, but I grew up in Canada. And even in Canada, when you grew up here, I'm not from Jamaica, but it became a part of my culture to rep Jamaica, because that was what was most dominant in the Black people here. That's what I would be interacting with. So a large Jamaican influence, even though I'm not Jamaican, has been a part of my life. And now as I get older, there is a huge influx of Nigerians in the same way that Jamaicans were running things when I was younger. Now there's a lot of Nigerians all over the world, all over the world. And I think this is a unique way of showing ourselves and putting Canada kind of on the map of our diversity, even diversity within Blackness. And I bring this up here to throw to you, Pureness, in a moment, because my producer, Banky Benjamin, had put up a flyer about us going to be on the show today at the CockTale Hour. And somebody from the United States was highlighting the fact that we're all light-skinned. To me, when I look at us all here, we don't all look light-skinned. I see a lot of diversity in Blackness here, but okay. Maybe there's not a very dark skin. Oh, what did the millionaire to be speak to its existence? Yes, big up, big up. That's for you, Rachel. Speak it into existence. That's for all of us, let me say. But in terms of colorism, which is a big deal, and even the aspects of bleaching and wanting to like lighten our appearances with filters and all of that. Pureness, I know that when we were talking about it in the group chat, you were saying that you wanted to speak to it. So here's your time. Are you on mute? Wait, you're on mute. There we go.
Thank you. I know she put us on mute, but yeah, definitely. I know there's, social injustices. There's a lot of things that have been circled around in our community, and it's hard because as a makeup artist, I faced it a lot with clientele asking specifically to be lightened, specifically for a certain lighting to appear on set just to have a different complexion. And this actually goes beyond just the Black community. There are other, minorities that also face this, I guess, if you will, the mindset. And it's difficult to watch because I wasn't raised in my household with this mindset, but I was raised in a community where it was very prevalent. So I know that we are better and beyond just the shade of our skin. But
I hope so.
Right? But I don't think our community knows that. And I feel it getting a little bit more and more intense, even though we've kind of shaded and hated on, the bleaching community. Now it's just actually been put, it hasn't even been put into remission. It's just been hidden more, which is interesting. The more we've hit this part of time in life where now everything is very common and very put out there. We have social media where we're telling everybody everything, but now there's this hidden community of lightening the skin. And even though some people are very open about it, it's become very hush hush, almost shamed into a dark hole. So it's interesting to see now that somebody would comment on that. And even though we all knew that, we kind of lightened it, there was some filtering happening.
The picture is like, there's just so much light on
yeah,
the
it was one of those images, and it was a cute image, and we made it work with what it worked with, and we did with what we did, but it wasn't intentional for the fact of us to be lighter per se. We all have different shades here, and we're all beautiful in our own right. So I hope that we can touch on this moving forward, because we are the platform that will do it, especially in Canada. We tend to stay pretty quiet about this, and we need to speak up.
We need to speak about it. But that also, thank you so much, Pureness. It also speaks to, you know, what it takes to friggin' put together a reality TV show. People highly underestimate the sacrifices that Abby, Amelia, and Rachel have made to start this whole thing up. And even those who were a part of it in the beginning, who were a part of making this happen, you know, it's a big shout out to them, because they were a part of making this whole franchise. So there's no shade to them at all. But there's sacrifice now coming in. Myself and Pureness and Becky, we're joining that sacrifice. And so it wasn't about necessarily choosing us because of our skin color. It was a matter of they are reflecting a lifestyle of women in Canada, to Rachel's point, that are regular women who are hustling, trying to make it and do something with their careers that was kind of complementary to what the Nigerian women were doing. And that's how we all have to work together here in Canada, is that we all have to kind of band together, because there's not many of us in the first place. But like I was saying, that some of our melanated populations are larger in certain cultural sectors. So Nigeria being one of them, Jamaica being another one. I'm from a small island called Grenada, which only has like about 107, 108,000 people. And there's more people in Brampton, which is a suburb in Toronto. So way more people in our entire country. So where colorism is there, but on islands in particular, you learn to work within what you have, because that's how you survive. And I think Canada is very much like that. So I'm glad that we have it, and you're right. It will be interesting to touch on that subject. But I say to the people who think that we're only light-skinned people on the show to go back and look at season 2, where there were lots of different people on the show. Even an Asian man teaching Abby how to dance. You remember that? That is just madness.
Yeah, Oliver, yeah. He taught us how to do some Afro beats, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah, so Amelia's the dancer, and she's trying to get us to do more TikToks to do these dances. Amelia, please tell us about your TikTok obsession. How did this start? And has it really helped your career, being really visual on the TikTok platform?
Oh yeah, it's really helped me to put me out there, because normally I love doing goofy stuff. I'm very playful, right? So with the TikTok thing out there, it gives me the opportunity to just be, you know, just goof around and do whatever. And at the end of the day, I decide to put it out there, and I say I'm getting a lot of likes, a lot of comments about it. So it's something that I will continue doing, that I think.
Well, you're doing the bust down. They're gonna be like, did you see Amelia's body? We did a little photo shoot the other day. I was like, oh, wait, is this girl doing something in the gym? What's different about her? It is just like, bam! You know what I mean? Which I think is also really important to talk about. Like, we're all different ages, but we all do look really good in how we take care of ourselves and what we're putting out there. I think that is we're not trying to say that all Canadian women, we're Canadian women that are melanated. We all kind of rock our own kind of like vibe that I think is international. And are we trying to get Canadians to watch us? Probably not as much. We're probably trying to teach ourselves to the world. So in terms of the global perspective, if anybody's watching and you have questions about what to see on the show, what you're going to see on the show, how do we prepare the audience to take us in? We are different. You're not going to be seeing a Housewife of Atlanta reboot. You're going to see the Nigerian women interacting with Canadian women that also speaks to the diaspora. That's what I think, like to Abby's point, is a massive difference in terms of what we are bringing. So with that in mind, I want to go into a little bit more interaction about each of you individually. Maybe we'll start with Rachel, because she's been a little quiet. Oh, Amelia's been quiet too. But Rachel, you have, she ran away. She fell off. I was just going to ask her about her side hustle. Oh, is she coming?
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, you're there.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, yay. Okay. So tell me about you, the co-founder of a health service. What do they do and what is it called? And how did you get into it?
Is it my haircare business?
Yes.
Oh, it's called the Wadisa Care Health Services. Yeah, we're a haircare agency. So like today that they have the snowstorm, and they have a lot of shortages. So we send people out there to help.
Oh, it's like a staffing.
It's like it's a staffing agency.
For healthcare. So PSWs.
Yeah, strictly haircare. We also cater for like housekeepers, housekeeping services, like, the other day they even requested for bookkeepers from us. So yeah.
You become a whole staffing company outside
it's
of being
a staffing,
a nurse.
it's a staffing agency. Yeah. But right now our focus is on haircare. So, but we're seeing some orders for other areas, like, so we're trying to add that to like a maintenance, housekeeper, dietitian. So we have some with staff already.
So when you were starting, was it more referral based? How did you begin the journey to diversifying your own side hustle portfolio? Like, I mean, you became a housewife and then you have this? Wow.
What happened was that I have always been an agency worker, due to some constraints in the past. So I couldn't get a full-time job when I became a nurse. I was just in my own agency and say, you know what, this is good. They were paying us less, a lot lesser than the full-time workers. But the bottom line was that I have a job. So I was always dedicated to my job, still dedicated.
Yes, you are.
So when they send me out there, like I try to keep the name of the agency, try to, preserve their reputation, try to do my best out there. So it happens that most places they send me to, everyone want richer back, richer. So the owners of this agency now, they were coming to me like, you know what, we need you to hire someone like you for us. Look for friends that are like you, because they want you in all the places and you can't be in more than one place.
Right.
So that was how I started. So I started giving friends jobs. So everyone will come to me, new grads, they'll come in, Rachel, when they need jobs, they say, go to Rachel. So it happens that I now had like 4 agencies that I was helping with staffing.
Wow.
So one day I'm like, you know what, let me start something on my own. So me and my cousin, we opened up something. It didn't work out. She was kind of too full of herself and she messed it up for me. So yeah, we were 2 different persons. Like, she was totally the opposite of me. She was too harsh, taking things like big D, being bossy. That's not me. Me, I like being on the same level. Like I have my staff working with me. Some don't even know they're working for me right now where I work. They'll come to me, Rachel, the agency said we should contact you. We have something. One asked me one day, I heard from rumor you part of the owner of that. I said, no. She's like, but why is it that they direct me to you anytime I have issues? I said, oh yeah, they pay me to handle those things for them. I don't want them to know we're on the floor together. I don't want them to feel uncomfortable. There is a lady, 2 people that knows, like, they work for me. When I'm with them working, they kind of uncomfortable. One came late, one day coming to me, oh, I'm sorry. I said, go back, go and do your job. I'm doing my hair. You coming to say you're sorry. Just go and start. So things like that. I don't want them to be uncomfortable. Yes. So, but this very one we're doing, it was a friend of mine that we decided to put this together. So the honest truth was, she started it when she was starting. She's like, she don't have any background. She's not a nurse, nothing. So she was looking for people. She wasn't working. She's like, I need to do something with myself here. She have her own businesses in Nigeria. So she contacted about 3 friends and they like, no. So one lady that we on the same alumni together, we attended the same secondary school back home. So one of them said, go to Rachel. She's like, Rachel don't know me. So how can she help me? They're like, Rachel, she help everybody. You don't have to know Rachel. She have no yes in her book. She have no in her book. So the lady's like, oh, you contact her first. So the lady called me and said, oh, this lady is trying to contact you. She wants to set up an agency. She just need help. I'm like, oh, give her my number. Anything she needs to know, I will tell her. And the lady came to me, so we started putting everything together. She would call me any time of the day. So one day she's like, why don't you be a pastor? I said, no, I'm not going to do anything with anybody because I can't find people that are like me. It's very hard to find someone you can work with that are not greedy about money, but they're willing to put their heart and soul into things.
Yes.
So she's like, oh, you are the partner I've been looking for. She even told me she dreamt of me in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Like, so that was how we started.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's brilliant.
So we decided to come together and do this. And it was the right step. It was like God sent her. And she's so thankful we're together doing this because from the time I stepped in, it just picked up. Before I came in, the very year she struggled trying to do this thing. She couldn't even make $2,000. But since I came in, like the first year I jumped in, our revenue was over 200,000 already.
What?
And now we are in the millions.
This is where you started. You started like that. Oh my
And
God.
it's only 2 years old now.
Honestly, it's so important because as immigrants, like I was speaking to Eufoma, one of the directors for the show, and she talked about her journey from going from Nigeria to Canada and wondering, how am I going to make it? And it sounds like your business is allowing for people to transition with work. And that is, that could be its own show altogether. That is phenomenal. Yeah. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. I have a cousin who wrote about my story.
Yes.
At York University, she was doing law. Okay. She wrote about. They said pick someone that is interesting and write about them. She picked my story.
Your story
and
is
they did not just give her 105%. The professor said, I want you to come in front of the class and read what you've just wrote. Oh, wow. She read it out of the class. She said by the time she was done, half of the class, they were crying.
Oh,
she said, Rachel, you have a very interesting story.
Hearing it.
You don't want to know how I started. It's been a rough.
We all want, and that's what this show is really about. Yeah. It's about looking at our individual stories and empowering and educating people who are trying to build their own wealth and their own entrepreneurial efforts. And you saw a need because of what you were doing, and you created a whole thing over it. And look how successful it has been.
Yeah.
And it makes me go down to Abby, who also is, she has 8 children, everyone.
Exactly. I don't know how she does how.
And she birthed 6 of them. And that created a need for you too, where you're a nutritionist, you've got your waist trainer, you got a whole bunch of things that you were pushing and kind of doing, which was also kind of born out of a necessity. How do you work when you have 6 or 8 kids to take care of? You become an entrepreneur and you break your children a part of it. Is that how it all started? Tell me your story.
Yeah, you touched on it properly because having that much kids, I cannot get a 9-to-5 or it's not possible. So I had to think of things that I could do that will allow me to be home and still make money. So that's how the Abiayola brand came about, where I help, females, ladies that just gave birth or that's trying to lose weight or whatever. So I sell like the waist trainers and the flat tummy tees and the waist trainer pants and stuff like that, just to help people gain more like.
There are waist trainer pants?
Yeah, I have waist trainer pants. Yeah.
First of all, you guys are talking amongst yourselves and not sharing with me your gifts. You knew about Amelia's singing career. I didn't know about this career in singing. I didn't know that you did this staffing thing, Rachel. Like, what the hell? I knew that you did your trainers and just by watching the show, I know everyone is like trying to get you to stop being vegan. Tell me about your African veganness, because every African I know loves.
I know that's like weird in its own thing. It actually helped me. Like I have a book out from like I think 3-4 years ago. It's called Africanizing Vegan Food. All your Nigerian foods, all your favorite Nigerian foods veganized. The reason why I wrote that book is because at that time I was a new vegan. So every time I say, "Oh, I'm vegan," the Nigerians would be like, huh? What do you mean? So you don't eat meat? You don't eat fish? You don't eat shrimp? What? So I'm like, you know what? It's because you don't really see how you can put veganism into your diet. So I think that's why you're saying things like that. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to write a cookbook and get all these Nigerians who think that without eating meat and stuff, you're not really eating. Like, you actually have more options as a vegan than you would as being non-vegan. The reason why I said that is because when you're vegan, you have to think outside the regular rice and chicken diet that most people have.
Yes.
You have to be very like productive and very like, you just have to, there's so many food out there that you can try, that when you're vegan, you open yourself more to more options. But when you're not, you're kind of stuck to that same chicken, rice.
But you were brought up in a culture that is very meat. They're very carnivorous.
It's true. I was. And it took me almost like how many years? Like 20 something plus years to realize, okay, maybe the food I was raised with, it's not the best for me, you know? So you just have to make what the best choice for yourself. I'm not saying everybody has to be vegan, but at least add more fruits and vegetables to your diet. That's it.
Becky is not down for the vegan, African vegan. And if you watch the show, I know every season there's some problem with Abby's veganism, but it is an issue because when you come from a culture that is not vegan, you're going to come across this issue.
Yeah.
So not every time does it represent itself in the same way, but man, what was it? The Amala?
Yeah, Amala. Yeah.
Oh my God, that episode was crazy.
I wasn't there because I wasn't invited or something.
Listen, you wouldn't be able to be there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to eat it. Yeah.
She would have held you down and forced meat into your mouth. That's too funny. Oh my God. Okay, so now let's get to know Amelia a little bit better, because I have questions about like her acting career. Never mind her singing career. I didn't know she was a part of a gospel group. Like what? Oh my God. Anyway, so actress Amelia, you were in Lagos and you got your first, I think your first role was in Flatmates. Yeah, that was your first like entrance into it. So since then, what has been like your favorite role that you've had? And what do you want to have as one of your favorite roles in the future?
Flatmates was more like a group of friends. We were in school then. We decided to, do this comedy type of drama, and we all gathered together, and it was really funny, but we had to stop after a while. So I was in this relationship at the time. I used to go for auditions, and my then partner didn't want me to go into acting. So I had to stop, I got married, had kids,
To the same person who didn't want you to do the acting? Why do us women go in the direction that is completely like red flags everywhere?
I'm telling you, I should have followed my passion. But African, especially back in Africa, the husband is the, what he says is, and as a wife too, you want to just to maintain peace. You want the peace at home. You don't want any, you're just like, okay, no problem. It's okay. So, thinking back, I wish I stood my ground and said, this is what I wanted. But, everything happens.
Timing.
Yeah, everything happens for a reason, so.
Yeah, because if you did, it may not have led you to be here with us. It may not have led you to do some of the movies that you've recently done. You shared with us a recent project that you had just finished. Yeah. And I'm like, I can see you really growing as an actress. And so maybe this is the time, and you wouldn't have been like that before had you not been through those experiences.
Yeah, that's true. You never know, you never know. It could be because the ladies we all did went for auditions at that same time. They are really big now. I know some of my African sisters will know them, like Genevieve or Motola. We were all going for auditions back then in Nigeria. But anyway, I believe when God says it's your time, it's your time. It's just something that I'm passionate about, that I know, I've always wanted to do, even during my younger days. I had this drama group where, I train women. We have this women, as in not young girls. We have this drama group. I was the one always telling them this. You should do this and do that. But when I decided to come to Canada, one day I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna just leave this. This is something that I've always wanted to do. This is something that I love doing. And this is something that I know that I'm good at. Nobody's perfect in it, but I decided, what, I started sending messages to people that I know that are here. I got to meet some certain people, and they sent me, whenever there's an audition, they send it to me. So that was how I got the first role I got was actually a background role, but I didn't mind. And in that background role, I was noticed. I didn't even say much, but the expression on my face and things that I was doing, the director was like, "Who's that lady?" From there, he wanted to know me, got my contacts, everything, and I got into another I featured in other movies after that. People were like, so she's not just a pretty face or whatever, she actually can act.
Right.
So that was why I started getting roles in, people started calling me. And what I really want to do is like a badass, where like a gangster kind of movie. I love that. Where I gotta do I love roles like that. When I gotta get the gun or whatever.
Yeah. Let's do the Nigerian version of Set It Off. I'm not gonna be Queen Latifah.
Oh girl, you got it. The Nigerian
girls and everything, but I don't know if I have it in me to play that particular role.
Oh yeah, you got it. The Nigerian version of Set It Up, something like that. I would love to do like a girl gang. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
One last question for you is, how do you find? I know we're not acting; we're acting like ourselves on television. So how do you find acting like yourself versus like acting in a role? Do you feel like you have more freedom or something, being somebody completely different?
Yeah, with the reality show, you are yourself. You don't have to be somebody else, right? So it's different because normally what you have to say. You know what will come out of your mouth. You don't have to say, "Oh, this is what this character is supposed to say." So it's much easier when you're being you and not trying to be somebody else.
Yeah, trust me. And that's one to grow on. Be yourself. It's easier to be yourself than somebody else.
Because when you're yourself, you don't need a script, right? You're just you. Whatever comes out comes naturally.
That's like the best advice in the whole show is like to just be yourself. Don't act
be
like
you.
somebody else.
Don't try to be anybody else. Just be you.
I love that. Okay, let's go over to Miss Pureness, who, she's the new kid on the block like me. But she's been, painting up people's faces, making them look beautiful for a long time. And I just heard that she's a singer. Did you guys know that Pureness would sing? Right? What is this? Talk to me about your singing career, my friend.
That is so long gone. Oh my gosh. I remember those days in the industry. And actually, that's funny because it lends itself as to how I even got here, because it's in the industry already. So it was like I already knew certain connects, and they'd be like, come down to a music video. But the most hilarious thing is I would get off and they'd be like, I love your voice and your look. I love your voice and your look. And then I started hearing, I love your look. I love your look. I love your look. And it was like, how'd you do your hair like that? How'd you do your makeup like that? Like whatever. And I would get so many questions, like even just going like from stage to like the washroom, people would be like, oh, I just wanted to stop you. How'd you do your eyebrows like that? And I'm like, bruh, like, leave me alone. But yeah, and then I started getting asked to come do music videos, and I had certain friends in the industry, and they wanted their makeup done, and they would tag me, and these were Facebook days, and it was, I started getting out there, and I knew a lot of people that printed and did journalism and things like that, and my name started getting out there. It was crazy because I remember I would be handing out my business cards to people, and they're like, I already have this, and I was like,
oh, wow.
What? Like, that's so weird.
You didn't realize how big you were becoming. You were just doing your thing.
And it wasn't like social media wasn't like that like it is now. You know what I mean? Where you have certain followers. Like you had friends on Facebook, but you didn't really have like followers like that. So when I actually opened pages and stuff like this, I realized like people were like, I know you. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. So yeah, like that's where it started.
Working.
You brought that up.
Working. How people have all kinds of skill trades, acting, being a nutritionist, being a nurse. These are kind of like their careers, but they're like trades. Being a makeup artist is like a trade, but you stay working. Like I look at your Instagram is always like you wake up, you tell everybody good morning, and then it's just like hold on to your seats as you follow this person throughout the entire day till you say good night.
It's so crazy because some of the people that I looked up to growing up in our industry, like you have no idea my DMs. Like they literally are like, so what are you doing now? It's 2 p.m. You finished that yet? Oh my gosh. And they literally sit at my stories. So I feel more compelled to, entertain them and show them my day because it really is. And a lot of people have said, if somebody followed you, just like, we were saying about certain aspects of most of us women, if we followed us for a day, that is a show in itself. Like I have crazy stories being chased by dogs and having to jump over a fence with my kid. Like, what?
Hold on.
Like there's so many things that happen like in my day and people just don't understand. I remember I had to use the washroom once and like having to run to someone's door and I'm like, nope, they have a bulldog, and having to run to the next door and beg for a washroom because I couldn't get into my client's house. And it was just like so many things have happened in my story. And actually just yesterday, trying to lift my kid up the stairs and the whole tire broke off and rolled down the stairs and I rolled with it. And it was a whole shebaggle. So
and you were at the bottom of the staircase saying, man, if anybody could just see me right now.
And then at the end of it, the client was like, so do you have any discounts to offer? And I was like, listen here, lady.
Wow.
I really have to tell you what I went through to get to your shoot. You would never ever ask. But it's crazy. It's hilarious. And there's a lot to it. And I love it. I mean, obviously I wouldn't be here 20 years later if I didn't love it. Yes. But I love it. And the highs and the lows, it honestly just makes it more
obviously good at what you do.
So that's my colorful day.
But you're obviously good at what you do. And you also like, in terms of the entrepreneurship aspect, and this is a business show, it's like you understand the business of what you're doing. And you really deal with the marketing of it. You work really closely with sharing your journey with the people who are engaged with you. You show processing behind what you do. And you're not shy about sharing your own story, which is why you were so perfect on this show, which is a story in and of itself. As you said, it has led to more coming for you, which is what, if we listen to what Rachel and Abby and Amelia have talked about, it's the things that are happening in our own lives that create these experiences for us to gain from and grow from. Even myself, I went on a journey to heal myself from sexual abuse. Next thing you know, how the hell did I end up having my own talk show, doing this podcast, doing photography, and like all of these things come from what my therapist would say, do the things that you love and go towards your healing. And out of necessity, we're all mothers.
Yeah.
But it's not our main identities, which is another thing that was very attractive to me, because a lot of women just define themselves by being mothers. And here's a woman with 6 children, and she doesn't, that's not the first thing you think of, other than the fact that how did a body like that have 6 children? But like outside of that, it's not like her children are not a part of her life. They very much are. But that is not how we show up as the first thing we present to people. And I love that about us. I don't know about you guys, but that is something that I really love, because people automatically think that we should lead from a place of being mothers. And if anything, it does drive us, but it's not our identities. And that we are women, that we are human beings and women. And yes, we've happened to have children, and we're teaching them how to be the best human beings that they can be. So just one word about being a mother and working at the same time, and then your last thoughts. And then we will kind of wrap up this interview. And then Abby, you can go last and let us know when the show is going to hit the airways, what they can look for, and we'll play the video one more time for those who just joined in late. Okay, go ahead. You can go first, Pureness. Being mama and how you balance the work mama life.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually going to lead in with what you said there. So it's a perfect question. It's crazy because I've heard the excuse so many times, you can't do this, you can't do that. I was speaking with a photographer and she's like, well, I have young children. I was like, I had 3. They came across the country with me.
You had 2 at one time.
No, with me, and they were raised on the road with me. And, it doesn't lend itself to, being stagnant in life because you've birthed children. As a matter of fact, it makes you flourish and it makes you even stronger, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
And they loved it. I mean, even the point where, you know, we have lockdown now and they're like, I just want to hit the road. I just want to do things. Like,
Right?
they're used to being cooped up like this. So I definitely implore women to understand that you can grow with and without. And when I say without, I mean outwardly, with or without offspring. You know, like, you can really do this. And it doesn't mean that you're putting one before the other. And a lot of people say, how do you balance? You can do both, and they will both lend itself. I promise you, they both will lend themselves to entrepreneurship. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. And now I have 2 entrepreneurs on my hand that I've birthed. So
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Communication is what helps me with my kids. It's like, if we can talk about it, we're good.
Yeah.
Because we all can be feeling guilty about what we do all the time, but with communication and making sure that they're good, it can all be good. Rachel, what do you do? Because you have, I think, 4 and 2 grandchildren.
Yes, I do.
Jeez. And you're this big side boss, and you're on the show, and you're a nurse fighting COVID on the front line. Like, talk about Wonder Woman. But do you feel depleted ever?
Yes, I do. I'm human.
Good. I'm glad you said that.
It's hard. But the luck I had was my eldest daughter, she's 35 now. So she was born in Africa, in Nigeria. So she joined me when she was only 17, 2003. So she's been with me along the way. So that was a bit of help on my side, because my husband, my last 3 children, he left 12 years ago, almost 13 years now. Wow. So my youngest was only 3 then. And my son, he's 25 now, was 12 years old. So I look at the 3 of them like, what do I do? You know? And that was when I had a business. Then I had a store, a dollar store. So I had to close it down because my children needed me more. I can't stay in the store from morning till night, and my children are home, no one to help them with homework and all that. Yeah. So my eldest daughter then was also in school. She was, she just started college. So I didn't want any of what's happening in my life to be like a hindrance to her education or affect her education. So I decided to take everything upon myself and say, you know what, you focus on your education while I deal with the kids and all. So because she was already in her 20s, my son was, 12 years old, and the other one was 6 and 3. So they were able to kind of cater for themselves, the older ones, and look after the younger ones for me when I'm not there. So I had to go back to school immediately to do my nursing because there was nothing else to do. I closed my store. I'm like, what do I go back to? I can't go back and do general labor work. It was too much. So I decided to just fall back to school. And while in school, so that has been my story. So while in school, it wasn't easy because they give me my own SAP, which is government funding. So I had to stretch it out, taking care of the children. The father was not bringing anything to me in the first 2.5, 3 years. So I had to struggle. Yeah. And then when he started, he was bringing $200 a month for 3 children. It's like $60, which doesn't even buy snacks and gas for me.
Right.
So, yeah. And in addition to that, I had the mortgage because when he left, we had a house. So we split the money 50-50. I decided to put something together, put a roof over my children's head. I didn't want to take them to low-income housing or renting. I'm like, I have this little sum of money. I can look for something small. So that was how I bought my home in Brampton, and then was struggling to pay the bills and mortgage and,
Yes.
And then with school, in addition to that, raising the children. And my children were in gymnastics, the last 2. One of them is a coach now. She's a gymnast.
Oh, wow.
So I take them to gymnastics every day. They go 4 days a week. And they spend 4 hours there. So when they finish school, I'm right at the door at 4 p.m. I say, let's go. They go with their homework. I drop them there. I stay at Tim Hortons for 4 or 5 hours, waiting for them to finish. And while I'm at Tim Hortons, I'm doing my own homework too. Then when we come back at 9 p.m., I'll drop them at home. Then I'll go to school to go to work. I have to start work at 11. Then I'll do the work all night, come back home, get ready for class. So most time I have two friends in school. If they listening to this, every time they have to sit in the middle. So when I'm falling asleep, one will kick me from this side. They will press my toe and say, wake up. Because I'm always working. I was always doing night shift and I have class in the morning. Amazing. So that's why I say it was a very rough road. I don't know how I did it, but with God on my side, I succeeded.
Exactly.
So the kids are grown now. My youngest now is 16. So now
you've done a great job. I've been to your new home. You're killing it. You're doing amazing. Keep doing what you're doing. You're not just a mother. You are an amazing woman. And that's what makes us good mothers, is that we're amazing women. Amelia, how has been acting and children and all of the stuff you're doing? How's it going? And what are your last thoughts?
If I remember, we started when I got into the country. 1 second.
There you go. She has to cuss off her kids before she can answer. Go ahead.
So I always started when I got into the country. My kids were really little. Oh my God. And as a single mom, no family here in Canada, and having a special needs kid, oh boy.
You have a special needs child as well.
Yeah, I have a special needs child.
It
wasn't easy. I had to work. I had to pay for rent, feeding. Everything was on me. And, at first, whenever I go, I take them with me. I just say, you know what? You guys have to just stay in here. I had to do it. There was a time I almost got into trouble that one of my child, when I went to work, called 911. Oh boy.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, and they quickly off the phone, but they called me with like, Mom, this person just called 911 by mistake. And God, I started running. And when I got home, the police were downstairs in my building. I'm telling you.
Oh my God.
I would never forget that day. As I got into the house, the police knocked the door and it's like, somebody called 911. I'm like, it was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Oh God.
But so many. We were there. This is important for people who are immigrants to the country to recognize that the systems here are different. You can get into so much trouble. They could have taken your kids away. Thank God you were close enough to be home, to be there.
But as a mom, you gotta work. How do you do it? You can't even pay for daycare. It's so expensive. Right. And I know a lot of Black women like me go through that when they have small kids, and not really small. In Canada, they are young kids, but back home, they're already on their own. They can stay home.
That's true.
They can. It's just Canada that is making it seem as if they're so young. When a child is about 10, that back home, your mom you can tell the child to stay, you're coming. But in Canada, they have their rules and whatever that has to be 12 and all that. But I thank God where I am now, because there's a lot of things I wanted to do, but I knew it wasn't going to be easy, especially when you have a special need child, right?
Yeah.
Because you have to be there 24/7 and all that. But I thank God they're a bit grown. My eldest is 17. I'm able to do some things now that I really want to do, and also be able to go back to school and finish up with some stuff. So
I'm so
glad. Being an actress, an entrepreneur, being an healthcare worker, and having 3 kids at the same time, and it's just help. It's not easy to balance it. Some people are lucky, but it's not easy. Let's not deceive ourselves.
Well, you're doing great. You look great. Just like Abby said in the beginning, Nigerian women, we do what we got to do, and then we look good doing it. So
Yep. Never ever make people look at you and say, are you okay? Never. Always come out strong, whatever it is, keep it in the house,
Keep it in the house. That's true. Hi, Becky.
Hi, guys. Oh my goodness. I'm frustrated like hell. The network is not good. The weather is really horrible here. I don't know what to do. I have to come into my car. Oh my God.
Oh, we missed you. It's okay.
I know, you guys, I don't know. I thought it was on Instagram, right? And I told everybody, on my social media that they should catch me on Instagram. So everybody was waiting. I didn't know it was actually YouTube. Lee.
That's okay.
You know?
We'll have the whole thing that you can show them after. But it's no problem. Becky, we're so happy to have you. We know that you're like one of the, sometimes I guess you could be seen as at times the villain, just like me. I could be the villain sometimes. But it's because we're intense and we love passionately. And so just really quickly, Becky, what do you want people to understand about who you are? And then we'll throw to the trailer, and then we'll end with Abby.
Well, for me, Becky, I'm very organic. I'm real, and I don't really take shit from nobody. Like Abby is a good person, but she's trying to throw shit on me, which I can allow it. It's not allowed in my own book.
Yes.
So she needs to sit right and think about what she's about to step on, because if Abby step on my toes, I'm gonna crush her. And I'm saying it to her face. I don't care about what she thinks, whatever she wanna say. I don't care about it.
Yeah.
But she needs to be very careful on how she talks shit about me behind me. She's not a coward. She needs to come straight to me and talk to me like.
Yes, I know. We've all seen it. We're gonna try.
But you're doing the same thing to me too, Becky.
I'm glad we're all in our home.
Becky is doing the same thing to me.
Oh,
you are behind me too. So leave that bit alone.
She's there talking about Abby,
no,
hello, you started it.
No, listen. I'm not talking to you.
Yes.
I'm not talking to you. Listen, I'm not talking to you, okay? Ellie asked me a question and answer. If you want to be a bitch right now, you can bring it on, okay? I'm not talking to you. I'm not talking to you at all.
We're not here to fight. Just tell LA about your motherhood and all that. We can fight later, okay? All right.
Yeah,
you're not the one to tell me that, okay? You're not the host.
Let's just throw to the trailer so that we just avoid all of this altogether. Please,
you keep going to my social media to like my picture. Really? Don't like my picture.
Please,
okay?
Don't like my
picture. This season on Naija Wives of Toronto.
Becky! Please get me out of here!
Ellie, stop it!
I am not going anywhere.
I wouldn't be here if she didn't invite me.
Like, I can't even believe it. See, I'm the boss. Don't control me.
Hi, Pierre.
I beg, make you step away there. OMG.
Straight up.
You don't listen. So soft.
Abroad that you've been over the years have ruined and destroyed your way of thinking as an African woman.
What the man? Get us about what?
I don't know what's going on.
She can take your advice off your whose fault? It's your fault.
Whose fault? It's our fault. So, Abby, whose fault is it? Where are we going to get to see whose fault it was? Please, Abby, tell us.
About
Becky? Tell us when the show's going to start.
The show is going to start February 2nd, 2022 on Afroland TV. So that's a Wednesday. So that's in 2 weeks, I believe. 2 weeks, Wednesday. It's going to... episode 1 is going to be on Afroland TV, so make sure you join Afroland. It's free, so you don't have to pay anything to watch our show. It's free. Just join Afroland, watch us, because the more views that we get, the better it is for everybody. So
So please watch. If you're interested in sponsorship or advertising for the show, I know that you can hit up, you can go through Abby, but there's a woman named Veronica who you will be able to contact. We're looking for, investors. We're looking for people to support our voices. So please contact us. This is groundbreaking television for Canada. Be a part of this legacy making, this history, and let's see how far we can go. We are regular women doing amazing and extraordinary things, and we look good doing it. And that's what the Naija Wives of Toronto is all about. And I personally am so grateful to be in the company of these women because, and even like Pureness, being a Jamaican woman and how Jamaica has impacted me. I'm not saying that Grenadians don't have this, But in my everyday life, being around women who look good, who have a certain level of class, who know how to go for what they want, I'm learning so much just being in the presence of these women. It has definitely added to my life and has not subtracted in any way. So I'm grateful. And thank you to all of you. You all look beautiful. It was great to have you on the CockTale Hour. One last shout out to Business Takeout, who presents the CockTale Hour. It's a social enterprise that works to empower and educate Black wealth and Black entrepreneurship. And I think that this show today in particular was a clear example that you don't have to just be one thing or another, but you should definitely be yourself and continue to go after what you thirst for. So thanks for watching the CockTale Hour, and love you to all of my Nigerian wives and all of the Nigerians watching and all the people that are going to be a part of this groundbreaking, historic moment. So thank you all for being a part of the show.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
If you enjoy our programming and want to help support Black entrepreneurship, please donate today. www.businesstakeout.com/donate.